Okay. $14,000. Can you imagine bringing in an additional $14,000 a year at the minimum without getting any new clients? So you can just bring this additional $14,000 in with your existing aesthetic clients. Can you imagine? I can imagine, and I would love to do it. So we have a service that we took a survey and we polled you guys and we said, are you doing this service? And a lot of you said no. And I wanted to know why, because the guarantee is pretty high that a lot of the estheticians in our audience are doing waxing. So if you are doing waxing and you're doing brows and you're not doing this service, I am beyond myself as to why. So we've got an expert that is about to join us, Alisa Marie Brows. I know she is in the audience. I just need her to hit join and request to join. And she's going to share the screen with me and we're going to talk about brow lamination. So this is a service that you can do while you're waxing. You can do it while you're sugaring. You can do it while you're tinting. You can do it and create the ultimate brow treatment. And we have figured out that you can earn a minimum of $14,000 annually by offering this service, by doing it twice a day. Twice a day, let's say you work 4 days a week. You just need 2 clients to do it. So you take 2 facial clients, you get them to do a brow lamination, and magically you've made $14,000 in addition at a minimum annually. So I'm going to actually get her on here. I'm not seeing her request come in. Send me. And she is the creator and educator behind Alisa Marie Brows. Good morning, Alisa. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. I just teased this audience with 14 grand. Okay. And if we can't get an esthetician to sign up to make 14 grand in addition per year for doing basically nothing with brand new clients, just improving the services within their existing clientele, it's going to be amazing. So tell us a little bit about you and what is your background and where did this come from?
So I'm Alisa Marie and I started Alisa Marie eyebrow lamination. I was one of the first in the US to do lamination and I was the first in Michigan, which is my home state. So I've been doing it for a couple years now, but I just happened to get lucky and come across it really, really early on and did a bunch of research, and I had to study through the UK because that was the only place that I could do classes through that was doing it.
Right. So how did you find it? If this wasn't available in the US, like, did you discover it on Instagram? Like, where did you find it?
So it was available in the US by, I think, Austin, LA, and New York, I think. So only like 3 major cities in the US. And one of my friends was following somebody that had got it done in Dallas or Austin, whichever Texas city it was.
Yeah.
And so she sent it to me and she was like, do you know what this is? And I had never in my life heard of this. And I was so blown away by the results because it looked like she just got microblading and or eyebrow extensions. So I immediately needed to know how to do this and how to add it. And it's blown up my business completely.
And boost your services. So now, prior to this, were you just a brow artist? Were you doing skincare services as well? Or what was your specialty?
I was doing it all. I was a typical, I feel like, esthetician where you're just trying to find where you fit and what you love and what you're passionate about. And so I was doing makeup, I was waxing some brows, I'd tint some brows, I'd do facials, which I didn't love doing, things that you just feel like you have to do.
Right.
Once I added eyebrow lamination, in the beginning, since people didn't know what it was, I really had to explain myself and try to, show
Sell it.
and after sort of like my family members, things like that, to try to show what it is and get people interested. And once, I started getting more and more before and afters of it, it just immediately started taking off.
And sold itself, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I have to admit, I am, there's that level of who adopts trends. And I'm like a late adopter, I think is the category I fit in, because when I first started seeing brow laminations, which are called lammies, which I feel so out of the loop. I feel like the mother that I am. that's so out of trend. What do they call it? And they even have a name for that. Chugi? Is that Chugi that I so these lammies, when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling that. Like, that's a little intense. Like, that's a little like, you look surprised. Some of them are really long. And I have to admit, I didn't love the look of it at first, but the more I started seeing how different brow artists did it, that's when I started saying, like, okay, well, you don't have to go as dramatic and you don't have to be as drastic. And when I discovered you, we were going to IECSC in Chicago, and I saw that you'd be there, and I was like, let's see who this is. And I looked at your account, and the way you do brow laminations is like that happy medium where it's not too drastic, but you still see a change because you want that effect, right?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I know when you're getting something done, for one, it's something that seems scary. It seems more of like a permanent thing. It only lasts 2 months for them, but it's not like microblading where you put it on there and it's stuck how day one is. Yeah. But I try to give them something that when they walk out of the door, they don't feel too crazy. There's always going to be people that, you know, are a little, they want to put the hat on and, you know, when they leave, but they always come back. So
exactly.
It's a love service.
And 2 months is a great duration, I think, because, you know, it's not every 4 weeks that you have to be back in there. I mean, you can go every other month, but you do. Okay, I'm getting so ahead of myself. So you are clearly like a trendsetter when it comes to brow lamination. And you also looked into different formulas, because tell me about what you were seeing in the formulas that were like, what was happening to brows?
So when I first trained with a company, they had given me, you know, with the class, a kit, and I liked it. It was good. And then they came out with their own, which I thought was the same thing, but in different packaging. And my brows, before, you know, doing it on anyone, I tried it on myself, and my brows were like fried and crispy and just like hard feeling, like very, very overprocessed. If anyone's felt their hair be overprocessed, or if you've seen somebody get really bleached, overly bleached hair, and it starts, you know, like having that weird texture to it. And I was like, I can't do this to people. Like, no one's going to come back, or I'm going to get flooded with bad reviews. So how can I, you know, ever do this? So I just went crazy on finding the perfect thing that I could use. And that's why I have my own product.
And well, that's what happens, right? You're like, I'm going to perfect it myself. So quick question before this disappears in the comments. Skin Studio SCV, thank you for being on with us today. She asked, when combining a facial with a facial, should the lamination be done before or after the facial? What do you recommend?
So I never suggest doing lamination the same day as any skin is, because with lamination, you can't get your eyebrows wet after for 24 hours. So if you do the facial, obviously they're going to get wet. But if you do the facial before and you're using exfoliation, you're just giving, you know, you could have them have some kind of a reaction because, you know, just more.
Okay, because it's just more exposed.
Yes. Sort of.
Okay, so you have created, I'm going to open up your little kit. First of all, we need to appreciate your branding. I mean, so cute, so glam. And now in the kit, and you guys, you can get, if you are familiar with lamination and you already do them, you can get the kit on its own. But if you are new to this and you're like, I think I want to offer this, and I also want to make the 14 grand that Jenny was talking about at the beginning of this live, by adding this onto my existing clients, you guys can get this kit from Alisa Marie, and I'm going to show you guys what is in it. So we don't have to go into how to do a lamination, because that's what you're going to get with Alisa Marie. Like, she teaches you how to use every single thing, which step, and oh my God, can we just note, like, the pink spoolie? That was probably my favorite little touch in this kit. So you can get full detailed instructions and maintain the integrity of the brows, because as estheticians, like, that's our job, is to maintain integrity of the skin and not just destroy it, just to build it back up. So I think that that's huge. And this kit is what can help you do that and provide safe service for your clients.
Yeah, it's so important to have people wanting to come back after they get something done. And with this, if you're making sure that you're taking care of the health of their hair, for me, I do maintenance appointments in between. So I do treat their hair with Olaplex, and it keeps them back in. I do like a wax.
Olaplex, like the Olaplex for your
Yeah,
hair?
yeah.
I use that on my hair, so why not on my brows? Love
Exactly.
it. Okay. So let's talk about money, right? How this is how I came up with the 14,000. We just did, okay, if you just did a lamination, standalone lamination on its own, no tinting, no waxing, none of that. We saw the average was about $35. So if you were doing 2 laminations a day, and let's say you do a 4-day work week, that adds up. And I think we did it with 50 weeks out of a year, 2 weeks of vacation. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone gets that. That's $14,000 in additional revenue for the year. But that is your minimum. That is your bare minimum, because you recommend, Alisa, doing this whole like brow transformation treatment. So what is your standard package for laminations?
So I do laminations for $65, and I always include a wax and a tint with it. It just gives, well, for one, your social media pictures are always going to be as good as they possibly can be, giving them the full treatment. But if you do have some clients that don't want the tint, they can say no to the tint. But I think it gives the full service. When I think of lamination, I think of all of those steps being included.
It's like night and day, you guys. I have to tint my brows on their own, or else they get washed out of my face. They're tinted today with like a brow gel on it, but I didn't have to fill them in. So that's another huge thing for your clients. So you get the tint that gives them that more defined look. Then, and correct me if I'm wrong in the order that I'm stating this, then you can do a lamination that gives them the style and the structure. And then you wax to give them that shape and that clean, the clean edges. So what order do you perform the services in?
So always start with laminating first.
Okay.
And once you laminate, the hair follicle is more porous. So when you put your tint on, it's going to pick up quicker and darker. So you do want to do it faster. Take it off faster than you normally would. I use Brow Code. That's my favorite brand for it, because their tint, when it processes, it changes color and it changes texture. So you know when to take it off.
Oh, that's phenomenal. You don't just have to play the guessing game.
No.
Like I do.
Right.
I'm like, okay, this looks good.
Yeah. Sometimes it's when you're on.
Okay. So you laminate first, pores are open, all of that. Then you put the tint on, quickly remove that in a shorter time frame, and then you would do all of your waxing services. And waxing, sugaring, anything is okay?
Well, okay. You can. I like to do the hard wax the best, because you're trying to keep the brows where you put them. So you're doing all that work trying to, put them in the right place. And then if you're pushing your hand onto it, you're touching them. It's just, I think it's better to do hard wax. Yeah.
Okay.
It just gives you a cleaner slate.
This is huge, huge suggestions. Colleen Fletcher, she asked, hi, can you give us the name of the tint that you use again, please?
Brow Code.
Brow Code. So they're an Australian-based company, correct?
They are, but I believe that they're starting to do a U.S., what's it called? Like a
distribution over here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you guys, this is huge. I cannot wait. So I took Alisa's masterclass, and I watched it, because I've never done this. I've never done it on myself. I've never done it on a client. So for me, I always do everything on myself first, because I'm like, let me see what I can mess up for myself before I do any of this on anyone else. So I will be doing this on myself in the next week or two, and then performing it on some clients here in my treatment room. And I can't wait to tell you guys my feedback, and do some behind the scenes footage, and show you guys really what's included with the kit. But for now, you guys can absolutely go over to Alisa Marie Brows. That's your full Instagram handle, right?
Yep.
Check out her before and afters and see. And you guys, I get it. There's a lot on the market, but what we strive to talk about here on Lip Gloss and Aftershave is maintaining integrity of the skin, the hair, the nails, whatever you're working with, because that's the idea, is health, right? So we talk about vitamins and ingestibles and tinctures all the time, because everything starts from within. So why go in with a product that's going to just destroy everything from the outside? And that's what you have achieved, and that's what you researched and found, and you packaged up for everybody so they can have a healthy kit. And they can also get training. And Alisa, question, how many, so you have your kit, how many laminations can you get from a kit like this?
8 to 10.
Okay.
I say 8 because once you get those really, really thick brows, you might just need to add a little more product than normal.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So this is it, you guys. This is Alisa Marie Brows. You guys have to go over and check out her before and afters because that's how I fell in love with her, and I think you will too. And then stay tuned for some more coverage on what we think of the formulas, and maybe I'll do one of my brows and not the other. Like, I will show you guys complete before and afters. If you have any questions, let us know. You can send us a DM. You can send Alisa a DM. She's super responsive, and we will take it from there. But thank you for joining us this morning. We tried this on Monday, and we all know what happened on Monday on
Facebook.
So we will be featuring you soon, and we will see you later this month as we showcase your products.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Thanks, Alisa. Have a good day.
Thanks. You too. Bye.